Hey everyone, I'm Stephanie, and I believe that the right book at the right time can change lives, and that all readers should read children's literature, especially adults. So that's what we do here on the KidLit Love podcast. We celebrate all things children's literature: picture books, early readers, middle grade, and young adult novels for readers of all ages. In each episode, we'll talk with children's literature authors and discuss their books, their hopes, their dreams for readers, their writing process, and much, much more. Whether you're an adult reading to their inner child or connecting the young readers in your life with fantastic books, you've come to the right place. So grab a notebook to build your TBR, and let's get to today's episode of KidLit Love. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the KidLit Love podcast. I'm Stephanie Affinito, your KidLit loving host, inviting you back to another bookish conversation with a children's literature author. Today, I'm talking with Jerry Spinelli. Jerry is the author of over 30 books for young readers, including Third Grade Angels, Fourth Grade Rats, The Library Card, Stargirl, Maniac McGee, and that also won a Newbery Medal. He's here today to talk about his newest release, Fifth Grade Top Dogs. This middle grade novel is part of his Run the School series and follows George, aka Suds, as he figures out if he has what it takes to be the top dog at his school. It's a fun and entertaining book that will have kids glued to the page, and I can't wait to talk to Jerry all about it, so we are going to get right to the episode. Jerry, welcome to KidLit Love. I am so glad you're here today.
Hi, Steph. Thank you very much. Pleasure to be here.
So, way back in 2001, my very first classroom, I distinctly remember my very first Scholastic box arriving to my very own classroom, that white and red box. And I remember being so excited to open up the box and show my brand new fourth graders the very first book I had earned with my very own points as a first year teacher. And that happened to be a set of Stargirl. So I am so excited
Cool.
to be able to chat with you. It's a full
Oh,
circle
isn't
moment.
that nice? That's great. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Oh, you are so welcome. And even though I have loved so many of the books that have come before the one that we are talking about today, we are talking about your brand new book, Fifth Grade Top Dogs. Now, as I mentioned in the
Yeah.
introduction, it's part of the Run the School series. We've got Third Grade Angels, Fourth Grade Rats, Fifth Grade Top Dogs. It's been 13 years since you've extended the series, right?
That's what I'm told. Yeah.
I would love to just jump right into the conversation and ask, what was that like going back to this series, the school, the characters, and just jumping in with this latest edition of it?
Well, the whole thing began years ago when I was between books. And sometimes that was a problem, simply wondering, okay, what am I going to do next? And into my head pops an old school chant that we used to say during recess out on the playground: first grade babies, second grade cats, third grade angels, fourth grade rats. And I'm thinking of that last line, fourth grade rats. And if an author knows anything, an author knows titles. And I'm saying to myself, oh my, that's a title. If I've ever waiting for a story,
Yeah.
if I've ever heard one. And so I wrote the title down, which is usually the last thing I write. In this case, I wrote the title down and the rest of the page was blank because I had no story to go with it. So I had to take a month off after writing the title to figure out a story to go with it.
Wow.
I did that, and the result was fourth grade rats. And so then I guess it was inevitable that somebody, uh, namely my wife, Eileen, who's a writer as well,
Yes.
would suggest that maybe I ought to go through that chant again and pick out another grade to write about. And so that led to third grade angels. And as of yesterday, uh, the last one came out, fifth grade top dogs. Well, of course, we've run out of the chant itself. And so I had to make something up for what came after fourth grade. And I'm thinking, well, kids in elementary school these days, it's usually up to fifth grade.
Mhm.
Uh, in my day, it was up to sixth grade. So you're in fifth grade at an elementary school, you're top dog. You're leading the pack. You're older than the other students, and so let's see if we can cook up a story about that. And the result is the book that came out yesterday.
Mhm. I distinctly remember being in that top grade level in elementary school as well. It is a feeling, a grade level a year that you truly look
Yeah,
forward to, being on the top of
yeah,
the top of the heap, so to speak.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I know students who are moving into fifth grade themselves are going to feel this completely. But the thing that struck me about the book, well, there's two things that I couldn't wait to share with you and ask you about. And the first one is that even though it has been, about 13 years since you have added to this series, you know, the timelessness of it is quite clear. Like these are still books that are applicable to whether you read them 13 years ago or you're reading them, right now. And I'd love to hear you talk about what that is like writing for kids, really in almost two different generations, but having it seem like it is meant for exactly the reader who gets it, no matter what time period they happen to be in. How do you do that?
That's a nice thing that happens, and it's interesting that you said writing for the kids because, in fact, I don't do that. Uh, I like to say that I write about kids, not for them.
Mm,
Uh, Otherwise, I might wind up writing down to them. In my experience, and I'm sure you've seen it, kids read up. Stargirl, for example, is about high school kids, but there are kids in grade school reading it.
yeah.
Kids will read up, and so I make no attempt. I make no attempt to try to write down to them. I write my books, except with the exception of maybe some profanity and so forth. Uh, my books are written as if grown-ups are reading them right along with kids.
Yes.
Uh, Language is language, and kids are still kids, and you really don't need to make too much in the way of what way of adjustment. Sure, they're wearing different haircuts now and different sneakers, and the games they play change every day, and the language and so forth. Uh, but a kid is still a kid, and all I have to do is remember what it was like, and I'm on my way.
Yeah. Yeah. How easy is it for you to remember? Is it easy to put yourself right back in that time period?
Uh, Apparently, it is,
Yeah,
and
I agree.
yeah, maybe that means I have a problem living in the present or something like that, because I remember one of the first things when I first began getting published and invited to speaking engagements. I remember somebody asked me, raised a hand from the audience and said, "How do you remember all this stuff?" And that was my first indication that maybe not everybody remembers all that stuff.
Yeah.
Uh, so why I do and everybody else doesn't, I have no answer. Except maybe I just never really grew up, uh, but or maybe I was just paying a little more attention in
Mhm.
those days, and it stuck with me. In any case, I don't have to hide behind the couch making notes on what my grandkids are doing. All I have to do is remember what it was like myself and just bring the details up to date.
Yeah, yeah, you still have that kid at heart spirit that just naturally
I think
comes
so.
across the page. And especially because you said you're writing about them, not for them. And that, along with that wonderful childhood spirit that's there, is that kind of magical combination that, as I said in the opening,
Yeah.
just is going to have kids glued to the page and to the fun and the
Yeah.
reality that is happening.
Well, that's what the writer hopes for. Yes.
Yes. Now, the other thing that really struck me that you've alluded to as well, it may say fifth grade top dogs, and there may be a particular grade level of readers that if they happen to be going into fifth grade, this book is perfect. But it's for any grade level reader. It's for any adult. It's for anyone really who is in a transition, who is moving on to something new and trying to
Yeah.
figure out what is this like and who is this new version of me and who do I want to be? Um,
Yeah.
yeah, that doesn't just happen in fifth grade. This book is just universal for anyone who picks it up, truly.
Thea, thank you for saying that. You know, boy, you're a good example. Uh, a writer writes, and you try to write the best story you can. And one of the best things about being a writer is that readers, and I'm thinking about you, Stephanie, uh, will let you know sometimes what you've written that you don't even realize. And until you just said that, it didn't. I didn't sit down to write a book about human transitions. I just wanted to write a good story about a kid who was uh, and the issues facing him, who was about to become a top dog. Uh, and uh, and now that you mention it, yeah. Now that I look at it, sure, uh, it can be read as a story about any number periods in one's life having to do with transitions. Absolutely. Uh, Thank you for pointing that out to me, and I'll have to remember it for future interviews.
You are most welcome. I think that's the beauty of a wonderful story is the reader just gets lost in the story and then takes out of it
Yeah,
whatever that
yeah,
particular reader needs.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
So the book just released into the world, at least as of the day that we are recording this. And I'd love to know what your hope is for the book or for the new readers that get the book into their hands.
Yeah, I set out. Uh, I don't try to be too grandiose about the whole thing. I don't want to write a sermon. I don't want to start great movements. What I want to write, what I want to do is write a good story. Uh, Meaning and message and guidance and so forth might come along for the ride. That's fine. But my goal, more than anything, is to write a good story uh, so that when the reader puts it down, uh, he or she will feel that they're putting down a story that they have enjoyed reading, and now it's inspired them to move them to uh, pick up another book and read another good story. Uh, and For me, it doesn't go any farther than that. I mean, I've read, I've read the Brothers Karamazov and so forth, and all the deep stuff in there. But strip all that away, and what you're left with is a great story. And I think that That's what I want. I think that's what the readers want. Uh, more than they don't pick up a book. Say, I'm picking up a I want to pick up some meaning. They say I want to
Right.
pick up a story.
Yeah.
I want somebody to tell me a story, and that's what a writer does. And as Muriel Rukeyser said, the world is not made of atoms, but of stories.
Mm.
Uh, Case closed.
That is it right there. Case closed. Oh, it was such a pleasure to be able to talk to you about this book to help you launch this one into the world because you helped me launch my classroom library of readers. It seems a really long time ago. And I just want to thank you for all of those beautiful stories that you do write and that touch so many of our hearts. They matter. We stack them up inside. We keep little bits and pieces of them. And fifth grade top dogs is going to be another one that everybody loves. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Stephanie. I appreciate it very much.
Thank you. And thank you, listeners, for listening to another episode of KidLit Love. And I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for listening to today's episode of the KidLit Love podcast. You'll find links to all of the books, resources, and ideas mentioned in the show notes and at alitlife.com. You'll also find KidLit Love on Substack. That's where you'll find posts for each episode, monthly KidLit roundups, and an invitation to join my summer book club and go deeper into the world of children's literature. And if you loved this podcast and want more, you might like to listen to my other podcast called Get Literate. It's a podcast that explores all things books and reading, notebooks and writing to build a life you love. One more thing. If you love what you listened to today, please take a moment to rate and review the podcast or take a screenshot of the episode and text it to a friend. This helps the podcast grow and builds our bookish community of Kid Lit Love. Thanks for listening.